you don't have to be a fan of the video game to like these movies. I wanted to be inclusive.
Señores de Combo, bienvenidos. Tenemos una de las películas más esperadas del 2017, Resident Evil.
It's good to be back. You know, it brings back a lot of fond memories because we were here to make Resident Evil Extinction.
How are you?
Well, bien, hermano, gracias. Un placer.
Y también estamos con una de las mujeres más guapas del mundo mundial, one of the most beautiful girls in the world.
Thank you.
I think you put everything that works in the past, you mixed and you put in one movie that we are going to enjoy, I think.
It had to be the best. You know, it's the last, so it had to be the best. I had to have the biggest action, I had to have the biggest scares.
You know, I think this movie's definitely the best in the franchise. The action is just the craziest it's ever been. And the monsters are completely new. They're from the new Resident Evil game, so they've never been seen before.
Had to have an emotional kind of ending. So, you know, I tried to turn the volume up to 11 on this one.
Something that I love about this movie is that you really go into Alice's history and you find out who she is and where she comes from.
Hey, Milla here. Need a little help getting up to speed for Resident Evil, the final chapter? I got you.
That was the idea, was to kind of bring Milla back to where it all began, back to Raccoon City, back to the Hive, to finish the job that she started 15 years ago.
As well as the fact that my daughter is in this one. She plays the Red Queen. So for me, this is definitely the best movie.
Did you feel being part of this huge universe?
Es algo impresionante, hermano. Imagínate, yo había visto las películas anteriormente y de la nada de verlas, a formar parte de ellas y encontrarme en un set de filmación de Resident Evil, viviéndolo, teniendo cientos de zombies alrededor tuyo todo el día. Era una experiencia, la verdad, increíble. Increíble, me divertí muchísimo.
I mean, it's incredible. You know, Milla and Paul have been making these movies for 15 years. This is the 6th one. I don't think there's ever been anything like that. Part of something that has this incredibly loyal fan base is such an honor, and I love playing Claire Redfield. She's like that loyal, trusty, survivor that you want next to you.
Batshit crazy.
I don't even know my name.
This is kind of a record to playing this kind of character, one character for you?
Been almost 15 years playing Alice, so it's the longest running time I've ever played one single character, for sure.
And for another actress, I think it's the same thing. You have the record, right?
Oh, do I?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
WilliamLevy en Resident Evil, o sea, el que estaba saliendo en telenovelas, ahora va a salir en Hollywood. Está muy padre, ¿no? Eso.
Sí, claro que sí. Yo estudié cine antes de empezar a hacer televisión en Los Ángeles. Eso fue lo primero que yo estudié. Y antes de hacer la película de Resident Evil, había hecho 6 películas, pero no había hecho algo como esto. Esto es una franquicia inmensa, grande en todo el mundo, con una fanaticada muy entregada a ella. Conocer el mundo de Resident Evil y los fanáticos ha sido una experiencia increíble. Yo no me la creía, todavía no me la creo que estoy acá.
With this character, very physical. You have to do a lot of things with your body and fighting and working and I don't know. That is difficult for you?
So when I first decided to become part of Resident Evil, when I first got offered the role of Claire, one of the things that excited me was getting in my body in that way. You know, I'd never done an action movie before, and to be able to have your physicality really be a role within the movie, you know?
You know, I love training, I love martial arts, I love wire work. There's something about it that's so magical for me, and it really takes you into this other place where you get to be bigger than life, you get to be a superhero, and I really enjoy that.
And to be able to do the stunt training, to, learn to be strapped with guns, it was just very powerful.
You know, I love action, and I think that's why I've been doing this series for so many years.
You know, Milla's fantastic for the fight scenes. I mean, there's nothing she won't do. You know, some actors, when they read in a script, I'm gonna hang upside down and be beaten. The actors will go, well, I'm not doing that.
Exactly.
You know, Milla's like, she read that and she said, that's gonna be fantastic. We should be doing more stuff like that.
Listen, I've been hurt loads of times in the last 15 years. I mean, thank God I never broke anything. When you do stunts, when you do action, getting hurt you should expect that. I think people that go into these kind of movies thinking, it's all make-believe and I'm not gonna get hurt, it just doesn't work that way. I mean,
You know, she really wants to deliver for the movies, and for a filmmaker that's great because it gives me a lot of freedom in how I can shoot the action, because I can really get in there and get in close because it's the real person. You know, when you have to kind of fake it and it's doubles doing it, you have to back off a little bit. You got to be a bit more tricksy. Whereas, you know, in these movies, I can really put the audience right in the action because it's really the actors there doing it.
I have some zombie heads here and a couple of weapons. Which is the best way to kill a zombie? I have a sword, I have a hook, I have a...
Wow.
well, I mean, in my opinion, you shouldn't need really the weapons. You know, you just crack their neck.
Crack. Yeah?
Well, you know, you've got to sever the spinal column or massive trauma to the brain.
I will choose the sword.
Okay.
The sword. Yeah. The sword is the most effective, do you think?
Yeah.
When she runs out of bullet, because she will, I don't know what she's gonna do with the gun.
But I have another one.
But
Sword,
The sword is
that's what you
always
should rely. Yeah,
the same.
reliable.
the best.
You're
Exactly.
never going to run out of bullets with it.
Old fashions.
Yeah.
Where can we, because we have to shoot or to put the sword? In the heart, in the chest, in the balls, in the head? Which
In
is
the
the best
eyeballs.
way?
Well, everybody has to die. You know, in a movie like this, you know, you have to die. It's just a question of how good is your death. So, and it's funny talking with, you know, some of the other actors. You know, I have to explain to them, well, you know, you're going to die. And everyone's like, but am I going to have a good death? I'm like, yeah, you're going to have a great death.
with this sword, you can just
Perfect.
all the way. And if you want, you can come back around and cut off the head. I actually did it in the movie.
There's an army of undead with him.
What are we gonna do?
We're gonna kill every last one of them.
What does this kind of zombies make so special in Resident Evil?
We've had so many different kinds of zombies throughout the franchise. Really reintroduced the zombies into, you know, the present world. When we did the first Resident Evil, no one had seen a zombie movie in almost 20 years. So
When we started doing Resident Evil, you know, the zombies were fresh. You know, they'd only just died and come back to life. So the makeup was, you know, it was fresh makeup. You know, they were quite good-looking zombies. Now they've been walking around on the earth for 15 years. They look really, really bad. So on this movie, we really pushed the look of the zombie makeup.
you know, we've had all types. We've had regular zombies, we've had special, like hybrid zombies, we have smart zombies, we have zombies that can climb, we have zombies that can run fast.
Did you have any danger scene meanwhile you are shooting? Like, oh my God, we kind of be hurt or something like
Yeah, I mean, when we shot in Johannesburg, we shot in these Ponte Towers, and it was this cylinder building that people used to live in. It had become kind of like this renegade place. And while we were filming there, the people that were still living there didn't want us there anymore. They started throwing tables out of their windows, and we had to wear hard hats to get to the bathroom. It was intense.
En serio,
Se pone
ellos
rudo.
tuvieron que reconstruir todo un set nuevamente allá en Cape Town, parecido al que estábamos usando en Johannesburg, porque se volvió muy peligroso.
Y supe que filmaban muchas escenas en la noche.
Sí.
Entonces era el frío, porque es como un desierto. Y
Súper
en la
frío.
mañana es muy caluroso, pero en la noche es súper frío, ¿cierto?
And it was freezing cold. We were
Wow.
always so cold. But at least we were always together, you know? It's one thing if you have to be alone doing it, and that's what really bonds you as a cast, because it's like, you know what? You need to laugh your way through it. You know, you got to take care of each other, and you know that's part of what makes it Resident Evil so special, and you can feel it.
How many extras do you need to make this kind of movie?
There's a limit to how many people you can physically get on a movie set dressed as a zombie and make them look awesome. So we never used more than 150.
And the director told me that there's like 150 extras for the zombies, right? How was that energy with all this makeup thing? And I don't know, it has to be special, right?
It's incredible.
Es increíble porque te puedes sentar con ellos, comer con ellos y decirle disfruta tu última cena, porque la próxima que te va a cortar la cabeza, cabrón.
Join me in theaters for Resident Evil: The Final Chapter as we head back into the hive, because sometimes it takes going back to the beginning to find the end.